Hi, welcome to the Butler Buzz. I'm your host, Kate Stutz, and I'm sitting here with Deputy Saul from the Sheriff's Office. Deputy Saul, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate being here.
So can you tell us about the DARE program?
We go out to the schools. Right now we have 15 schools that we go to, over 1,500 students, and we go out to these fifth graders and we teach this program, and it's 10 lessons. And these students, they work out of a workbook from front to back, and it's very important that they get this information because they can carry this information for the rest of their lives.
Right. And, I'm looking over it right now, and it's something that any adult could definitely have a refresher course. And these are all important life lessons that you'll take with you.
Yes, we as adults can use some of these lessons, especially some of the stressful situations that we're involved in. We can maybe take a step back and count to 5. We don't want to be demanding and unsure in our communications to our significant others, but we want to be confident in our communication. And that's what we teach in one of our lessons.
Can you explain some of the lessons to us?
Okay, first we start off with lesson 1, and basically it's an introduction and being responsible. So basically the students will start out saying how their class etiquette has to be during the whole 10 lessons. So no, they need to raise their hand. They just can't talk out loud, because that would be interruption. But we also talk about being responsible, because these kids have jobs. It's coming to school. It's coming to school to learn, just as we have jobs to go to work and make money. So we teach that responsibility. In lesson 2, we talk about the drug information, basically about alcohol.
Okay.
We talk about tobacco use, and we talk about the effects of alcohol and tobacco and some of the statistics related to using alcohol and tobacco, especially the people that have passed on by using tobacco and the car accidents of people being under the influence of alcohol.
Right.
In lesson 3, we talk about risks and consequences. We all make risks and consequences every day. As myself putting on a uniform, I come out and make that risk every day.
Right.
We have consequences every day, whether they be positive or negative. And we talk to the students about staying at the positive level. And then lesson 4, we talk about peer pressure. And peer pressure is not only in schools, it's in our adult life just as well. And we talk about how to deal with peer pressure and how to step back and take a few moments and watch what we do and watch what we say.
Not rush decisions.
Right, exactly. And lesson 5, dealing with some stressful situations. We put the students in the classroom dealing with stressful situations like standing up in front of a classroom. How do you feel?
Right.
Are you always stressed? Sometimes stressed? Never stressed? Or how about if you move to another school? Are you stressed out? Have you been stressed out? And we get the students to talk to us about that. And some students may never have been put in those positions, but from the stuff that we put around the room, there's usually something they can relate to. Then we talk about in lesson 5 a little more of some of the stressful situations of it could be at home,
right?
And how to deal with it. Then we jump right into basic communication skills. So we all want to be in confident communication. We never want to be unsure, and we definitely don't want to be in demanding, which we know most of the kids probably at home are probably in that phase when the parents may tell them to do something.
Right.
But we try to teach them confident communication, so if they do have to stand up in front of the class, they can stand tall, straight, look at them eye to eye, and speak confidently and know what they're speaking about. And then we go from that into lesson 7, which is our nonverbal and verbal. The nonverbal is basically you're using your body language.
Okay.
So we kind of show them the difference between verbal and nonverbal. And it goes back to the lesson 6, the basic communication. So we kind of tie those in together, but they're separate lessons altogether. The biggest lesson we talk about is bullying. And bullying is really big across the United States,
whether it be in
middle school, high school, college.
Right.
We talk about how there are different forms of bullying. And some of these students realize that they might have been that bullier.
Right.
So it's important that we address some of those issues that they might have been doing, so they can step back and look and say, hey, this is what I've been doing, and I've been doing
And learn how to
wrong.
self-correct.
Yeah, we talk to them about tattling and telling and what the difference is about tattling and telling. And we all know that telling is very important. If someone's being bullied, you must tell someone. We talk about also in Lesson 9 the help network, who they can report it to, whether it be a teacher, a principal, a school resource officer, a DARE instructor, or anybody in the school.
Like an adult they can trust.
Yes, they can. Their parents, their grandparents, maybe an older sibling. And we talk about that help network, and then we try to tie that in with being a good citizen just as well, helping other people. So it's important that these students learn all these 10 lessons because we are giving them this information, and we are putting in this toolbox. And in this toolbox, they can take everything out, and they can use it for the rest of their lives. Now, at the end of all this, they have to write an essay. And they have to pick 2 or 3 of the lessons that might have affected them in some way, or they might related to those lessons. And they write an essay about it. And the competition is they get a mini Darren, the lion.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they get this little mini Darren the lion, and they get a medallion. And they win some other prizes along with it that we get from some of our people and businesses out there that donate to our program, which they're great. Every year I go calling on them, and they give us some stuff to give to these kids to thank them for going through this program. They get a DARE certificate. They get a certificate signed by our commissioners as well, thanking them going through this program. So it's enjoyable for me and all of our DARE deputies in the office, our instructors that go out and teach DARE. We enjoy it. We want to see these kids grow up and be good citizens and make good decisions on a positive level and not a negative level.
Right. Well, that's great to see that you have taught them something that resonates with them, that they feel strongly about, that wins them, the lion and the recognition and everything that comes with it. And then that they're internalizing it and they can take that and apply that their whole entire life.
And over the 15 schools that we teach, the competition is pretty good. I mean, these kids write some very good essays. And some of them are college level for fifth graders.
That's pretty impressive.
And like the old adage, are you smarter than a fifth grader? I don't know. Sometimes I read these and I'm like, wow, these kids really put a lot of effort into it. But as long as they get their workbook done, they can write one heck of an essay. It's a great program, keeping it real. And that's what we're trying to do, is keep it real, have the interaction with these students in the classroom.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So we can pick that first, second, and third place winner, and that first place winner gets that lion.
All right, Deputy Saul, thank you so much for coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and I hope that I explained how this DARE program works, this keeping it real, and I hope that we in the Sheriff's Office can continue to do this in the school districts, and we've been doing it for over 25 years now.
Oh, definitely. It's so important. Very necessary.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back with our next guest.
Armstrong's Healing Heroes initiative is changing lives for area veterans struggling with disabilities, such as PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and more. These incredible dogs help give people back their self-confidence and independence. We've raised over $250,000 to train and donate medical service dogs from guardian angels in the communities we serve. If you or a loved one are a qualifying veteran, please visit ArmstrongOneWire.com/healingheroes and click Apply Now. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm sitting here with Tom from Butler Township. Tom, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
I'm excited to talk about Preston Park.
Sure.
Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the park, please?
The park was originally a residence. Dr. and Jane Preston were actually the owners of the property. A little bit of exploratory research into glass took place there that eventually led into much greater manufacturing. But it actually housed our residents. So the roughly 88 acres that's now Preston Park was actually their backyard.
That was their home.
That was. Yeah.
And it's gorgeous. It has the pond and all these beautiful walking trails.
And a lot of timber, a lot of virgin timber that we've kind of crafted the park around.
Okay.
So that's been our challenge, is to take somebody's residence, their
Right.
backyard, and then turn it into a public park.
Right. So you have had to make all these trails, essentially?
And some of them were there. We've certainly spawned off more trails there. Give people, walking, pedestrian access to all aspects of it. And then, of course, the township's Sawmill Run Park is adjacent to it, which adds
Okay.
another 88 acres
Right.
of basically the same forested area.
So what are some of the changes that have happened since the Prestons donated the land to the township?
Township actually took ownership of the land in 2010.
Okay.
It's been a slow progress in converting it to a park. Mostly trail development has been a big one, mapping the trails. So this year we came out with a new brochure that actually shows the actual names of the trails,
Okay.
where the interconnects are so people can follow along and actually traverse the property.
Oh, that'll be handy.
It is,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's really cool because we go there all the time and it's so pretty and
It is.
it's very serene and it's great because it can actually be very crowded.
Yes.
But you won't run into anybody because there's so many different places to go.
Sure. Yeah. Certainly going down by the lake area is probably the most popular.
Oh, sure.
But once you're out on the trails themselves, it's not uncommon to not run across anybody while
Right.
you're there.
So what are some of the changes that you have planned for the park?
Probably the biggest one is adding public restrooms.
Okay, right.
So with any park, you have to kind of prioritize what your growth areas need to be, and obviously public restrooms was our big one. So 3 years ago, with the aid of Department of Conservation and Natural Resources (DCNR), we were actually awarded a grant to construct bathrooms in there.
Oh, great.
So right now our time schedule hopefully is 2020 for construction.
Okay.
Don't hold me that firm. However, that's the plan right now.
Okay. Can you tell us about the access road that you're going to be building?
Sure. So right now, access in the park is basically the former driveway. It's barely single lane vehicle width for a vehicle.
Sure.
And if you notice out in front of the park, there's always been those iron gates.
Yes.
Right, and they had the brick structures beside them on either
Yeah,
side.
they're kind of a
supporting them.
landmark in Meridian.
They are. So when we looked at what all was involved in the restroom project itself, we still have to run public water there, and we have to run public sewer there. So trying to find the best route to take kind of led us over into that gate area where
Okay.
natural topography is gravity fed. So looking at those gates, it was just a shame to not use them. So what spawned out of this project is opening up those gates. We're actually going to enlarge the opening a little bit and have an access road off of South Eberhard in through those gates, and then continuing up the hill and connect with that roundabout at the top.
Okay.
So it'll be one way up the hill, halfway around the circle, one way back out,
Okay.
using the existing driveway as a one-way exit.
That sounds really efficient too, especially for driving.
Yeah. You know what it does? It parking.
Right.
So when you go up there right now, there's a parking area, but it's not organized. It's not lined. Challenges,
Right.
Challenges trying to maximize the space. What this road will do in the subsequent parking that it creates, about 67 organized spaces we'll have up there.
Okay.
So
That's a huge
growth,
improvement.
yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a
Probably
huge help.
addresses one of the larger growth potential infrastructure items at the park.
So for people that aren't familiar with Preston Park, how can we learn more about it?
You can go to Butler Township's website, butlertwp.org, or you can find us on Facebook at the same.
Tom, thanks so much for being on the show tonight.
Well, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We'll be right back with our next guest.
Hunger exists in every county in America. More than 1 in 5 children are at risk. Armstrong continues to create awareness in our communities through Breaking Bread, our initiative to provide resources to food pantries and soup kitchens. Here's how to help. Stop by your local Armstrong office and donate non-perishable food items. Attend special Breaking Bread events held in your area, or volunteer at your local food bank. For more information, visit us at armstrongonewire.com/breakingbread.
Hi, and welcome back. I'm sitting here with Tom Rossman from Hunters Sharing the Harvest. Tom, thanks so much for being with us today.
You're welcome.
So tell us a little bit about Hunters Sharing the Harvest. How does this help out with food donations?
Well, Hunters Sharing the Harvest is an organization that has been in existence since 1991. A couple guys got together in Harrisburg and decided that there was excess venison and it was going to waste, so that it should be put to some useful purpose. So they started Hunters Sharing the Harvest, and hunters donate venison to our program. We pay the processors to bone it and grind it and donate it to one of the charities, Food Cupboard or Community Meal, throughout the state.
Oh, that's great. And there's so many families in need that would really love to have this venison, too.
Yeah. You'd be surprised during the summer, how many of the food cupboards call and say, is there any venison left? We have people who want venison. It's all gone by the summer.
That's great. And people are given this opportunity to be so generous.
Yes, yeah.
That's fantastic. So can you tell us how you go about donating your deer?
Sure. First of all, they would, if a hunter has a deer that he wants to donate, he would field dress it, tag it, report it, and then take it to one of our processors. We have 5 processors in Butler County. Throughout the state of Pennsylvania, there are hundreds of processors, but here in Butler County we have 5. They simply drop it off and fill out a receipt for it, and we take over from there. And the processor butchers it, bones it, grinds it into hamburger, puts it in 1, 2, or 5 pound bags, and freezes it. From there, we pick it up and make sure it gets to one of the 30 agencies here in Butler County that are using the venison for either distributing to needy families or cooking it and providing meals for people. In Butler alone now we have 7 days a week people can go and have a meal.
Right.
Go to one of the churches 5 days a week. Saturday the Salvation Army provides a meal, and on Sunday the Victory Church comes into Rotary Park and provides a meal. So during the weather permitting. I don't think they do it when when it snows 2 feet deep. But
definitely.
Yeah.
So you make it real easy for hunters to donate.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and it's the reason I have 5 processors on there is simply so it makes it easier for them. They don't have to drive 20 miles
wherever
to drop
they're
a deer
located.
off. Right.
Sure.
They can look at the list and say, I shot a deer in North Washington, so I can take it to Bim's Bologna up in North Washington and drop it off there. Down in Valencia, we have a processor. Prospect, we have a processor. Cabot. I'm looking at Herman,
and Valencia.
Herman, yeah.
Yeah, so you're kind of covering everything for us.
We try to make it as convenient as possible. Yeah.
And there's 2 ways to donate. You can either donate your deer, or you can either donate money to support the cost of processing.
Right. Our processing.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, our processing costs run anywhere from $250,000 to $300,000 a year in Pennsylvania.
That's incredible.
So we're always in need of money to pay for the processing. So the coordinators, myself and the other coordinators throughout the state of Pennsylvania, are constantly hammering people to give $1, give $10, give $100, give $1,000.
Well, any little bit helps.
Yes.
Sure.
So and all of those donors are listed. The larger donors are listed on our website, so they get a little bit of free advertising too. If you look on the website, you'll see Armstrong listed there.
Okay, that's great. Tom, how much venison did you get last year?
Last year we received a little over 8,000 pounds. The year before, 10,000. So
that's
it
amazing.
varies from year to year. We're hoping we shoot for 10,000 pounds in Butler County each year. In the state, we did 149,000, almost 150,000.
That's
There were
great.
4,093 deer donated in the state of Pennsylvania last year.
So you're helping so many families.
Yes, yeah. And they assume that an entree of venison is 4 ounces.
Okay.
So if you take 150,000 pounds and divide it by 4, that's 600,000 entrees that were served in Pennsylvania last year.
It's feeding a lot of people.
That's a lot. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Very good. They tell us that there's approximately 1.6 million families in need in Pennsylvania. So, the more venison we get, the more people we're going to be able to help.
Tom, where can we learn more about hunters sharing the harvest?
Okay, we have a website, sharedeer.org. They can go on the website. There's all kinds of information about our operations there. They can find processors there in case they don't have one of my sheets.
Okay.
They can see the agencies aren't shown up, I guess, on the website, but all of the things that concern hunters sharing the harvest is on the website. So it shows the processors, it shows the coordinators throughout the counties. All they have to do is pull up whatever county they're interested in. And, even if a Butler County hunter happens to be in Allegheny County and he doesn't want to bring the deer back here, he can pull it up on the website and see who the processors are in Allegheny County and drop a deer off there so he doesn't have to haul
that's really
it
easy.
back here. Yeah.
Okay.
As easy as possible, yeah.
Tom, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, my pleasure to be
Yeah,
here.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you for the opportunity to get this out before the public. I appreciate it.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Butler Buzz. Hey there, Butler. If you want to see more from the Butler Buzz, click on the playlist button up here. To see other Armstrong local programming shows, you can click the subscribe button down here. I suggest you do both. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.